Hey, happy second day of fall. I didn't quite get this done on the first day of fall, but that's okay because we are in the season of fall according to the calendar, but according to the thermostat or the thermometer, not so much. I think it's supposed to be 96 in Dallas today. This is Mary Lou Foster. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Sulphur Springs, Texas. That's up in the northeast corner of the state. It's about halfway between Dallas and Texarkana out on Interstate 30 in case you decide to check a map to see where in the world is Sulphur Springs, Texas. I'm coming to you today with my free with purchase class. This is one that you can participate in even if you live in Alaska, Maine, Washington State, Florida, anywhere but internationally outside of the borders of the United States. I can't do business. I can. It's a new announcement, but it's too complicated. So we're going to stay within the United States. I am using the Gathering Moments bundle. This beautiful bundle is an online exclusive. Oh, I wonder what I typed. How about if I fix that for you so that it makes sense? Apparently my cursor landed in the middle of what I was typing. All right, I fixed it. Now show it. There you go, Gathering Moments. That's the item code number, or you can go online. And if you want to shop with me, you go to my name, MaryLouFoster.StampinUp. That's one word, no apostrophes or exclamation points. .net, MaryLouFoster.StampinUp.net/shop, and that will take you to my online store. You can search for Gathering Moments, or I have provided the product code, and I will provide a list of supplies used in this class. Here's how you get this class for free with purchase. If you place a $50 order in my online store, this is a $56.50 if you buy the bundle. So there you go. You've got your stamps, you've got your dies. These dies are you the card class in the mail. You'll get the cut card bases, the card stocks, the little pieces of paper. What I won't do is I cannot provide stamped images. And since this uses that bundle, I'm not going to provide you the die cut images. You're going to need to have the dies anyway. You can stamp those and cut them out by hand, but this you've got to have the dies for. There's not a stamp for that large leaf, either one of them. There are two. There's an oak leaf, and I believe this is a maple leaf. And then keep on measuring. So these are two of the cards. I'm going to show you how to make this card, because if you notice the detail on this card, let me show you the paper. It's called Gathering Together DSP. There is stitching. What did I do? Here it is. You can just die cut, and when you layer these two pieces together, it'll punch out your little holes. And then if you want the detail of a vein, I just took my marker or my stamping blend and just drew a line from dot to dot. But I'm going to show you today how to actually stitch it. Another item that comes in this product suite is Early Espresso and Old Olive linen thread. So you get 2 rolls of spools of the thread, and we're going to use the Early Espresso. This collection, it's called Gathering Leaves. I have already done my embossing for the card because it is a large folder, and you will need the larger stamp and cut and emboss machine. I'm going to show you this card. The thing about these cards, kind of a beginner crafter, especially if you have these stamps and you have the dies, would do just fine. You would need some ink pads in colors that look like fall. You wouldn't have to use the exact ones, but some that coordinated with the designer series paper would be good. There's a lot of stamping and die cutting, so it's it will take a little bit more time, but you end up with some really pretty. This one uses that big maple leaf as the background. I'm not going to show you this one today. I'm just going to show you the two. But once again, you do a lot of stamping. I think that uses just about the big leaf, the little leaf, the acorn, the mushroom, the berries, and the sprig. It uses every one of those. And the fourth card then, expressing heartfelt gratitude. So I use just the sentiments out of this stamp set and a different piece of the designer series paper. So what you'll notice about this card is the detail along the edges of the cardstock. I use the somewhere I have myself a note, the name of the dies that I use, because now I'm blank. That's what happens. I make myself a list, and I've hidden it now. It might be in here. Nope. I laid it aside. Okay, I'll find it. Like I said, I'm going to list the supplies used, but I used two of them. And then on the inside, I didn't, not on this one, because this was on a white card base. I did not put a liner in that one. So those are the 4 cards that you will get the kits to make with your $50 purchase in my online store. These are the embellishments, Cajun Craze and Gold Dots. Aren't they pretty? So shop with me at MaryLouFoster.stampin'Up.net. I'm still looking for my list of supplies. I specifically made it so I would be able to tell you what I used. I can't find it. So let's get to making this card. Like I said, I had already did the die cutting, the embossing, because I had to go use my machine. I don't keep that one in here. I keep it on the counter in the bathroom because it's a firm surface and it doesn't wiggle around. Excuse me. The 2 little accent leaves. So let me go ahead and mount this or adhere this to my card base, so it is out of my way and I don't have to keep picking it up and moving it around. And then we're going to do the stitching. And I know it's going to be boring, and you're going to have to sit there and kind of watch me do the stitching. It's a back stitch. If you've ever embroidered before, you'll know what I mean. But if you haven't, well, this is a great learning opportunity because you're using 2 different crafts. A strip of that designer series paper. Don't know what I did. I have already threaded my needle with the linen thread. You'll notice I'm using a very large needle because you need a large eye. You can't just use a regular sewing needle. This thread is thick and there's lots of strands of it. So you need that larger eye so it's easier to thread your needle. And you start 1 hole further in. And you're like, wait, why you go back to the first hole? And then the way I like to do it, so that I'm finishing up as I go, I'm going to go out to this hole, and then I can go back in right here. Because I kind of in my mind design how I want it to. I'm going to go out to this one. And then when I get ready to go in that hole, instead of just going in the center, I kind of try to push the threads apart, so I'm not just going through the threads. And sometimes it gets a little tight because you get several going in the same hole. Now I'm going to skip forward. I'm going to go back in that hole. And if you're keeping count, I think we've been in this hole 4 times now. It's okay. And now I'm going to skip out and go to this one. And go down to this one. skipping ahead because I want to back stitch. So I want to go back. I have spent hours. My mother and I owned a frame shop way back in the early 80s. And we would finish crewel embroidery kits for people. I did the same kit. I don't even know how many times they get started on it and not finish it, and they would bring it to us. And we, they would pay us to finish the kit and then frame it. It was a huge fall arrangement. Oh my gosh. And it was crewel embroidery, many colors. But that was my job. That's what I did. Mother and I framed together. She had her expertise. She was great at stretching and getting getting the projects mounted. Now, probably not going to sit here and finish this card. Just kind of want to show you, see how I've worked my way up to the end here. And then I'm going to show you a little trick because I want to skip to this hole, but I don't want to skip all the way across there because it puts too much tension. So I flip it over and I just kind of wind my way back. Then I wind my way to right here so I can go in. And for me, the back of my project has to be as pretty as the front of my project. That was kind of my trademark, is that it was neat on the back. I'm going to show you how you tie it off. Oops, I went the wrong way because I skipped forward and I went back. All right, so I've left myself enough tail so that I can work, and I'm going to run my needle underneath several of the strands of the thread, and then I'm going to loop it through. When I pull it tight, it makes a knot, and it's not going to come unstitched. And that's important on something that you're going to use and carry. We're not going to carry this because we're going to put it on a card, but you don't want it to come unstitched. Some people will just run it back and not do that knot thing, but I have found, and it does not add bulk to it if you do it tidy. So you can see. And now let me show you something else about this fun card. Distressing around the edges. You get to use your sponge topper, the early espresso. I use crumb cake on my sample, but I thought for this one, and it doesn't really matter which order. I could have done it before. You know what? Early espresso is going to be pretty dark. I probably should have used crumb cake, but I've gotten started now, and I've kind of committed. So I guess this is where we're going. You can use a sponge, you can use a sponge topper, or whatever your favorite way of distressing with ink. And you just work your way around. It adds some detail and some dimension. Otherwise, this this card would be kind of blah without it around the edges. Blah is a technical term. So it was distressed on that leaf and the small leaves. I'm going to go real gently on these. I don't want to overdo it. Can you hear my throat? I have a frog. So this class, you can get it for free with your $50 purchase. And you don't have to buy this bundle. I would suggest that you do, but you don't have to. Pick you out $50 worth of stuff. If you need cardstock, if you need inks, I'll list the supplies because this is the early espresso. I have used Timid Tiger. Okay, that's all the further I'm going to go on that one. I'm going to maybe stick it in an envelope if I can find an envelope. I believe I got one right here because I don't want to lose my pieces. I'll put that one together. Let's see, what did I do on the inside of it, just so you'll have a view of it. I will include the piece of designer series paper. And then if you have the dies that I still don't remember what the name of them are, you could die cut you out a piece to make it kind of coordinate as a set like that other card I showed you. All right, well, we're going to make this one. And I'm not going to include the cutting instructions because this is a class that I can send to you in the mail. And if you want to replicate, you will have your originals to measure. So you have an early espresso card base. You have a panel of crumb cake. You've got a panel of the designer series paper. And I'm going to mount the second little bit of early espresso sticks out. You could use cardstock, but I chose to use the paper because you've got it. You need to use it. And it's a very small, it's 1/16 of an inch. So you have to make accurate cuts. And whenever you're mounting it, I use the top and the bottom straight edges as my guide. And then this panel is, then you can decide if you want to put your crumb cake panel on dimensionals. You can. I'm not going to. I don't like a lot of dimension on mine. They're pretty and all, but use the top and the bottom again. So what I did forget to do, right here is a detail that I forgot to stamp, but have no fear, all is not lost. We can. These are adhesive sheets, not what I want. We can make it work. I'm going to use a piece of, cover this up because I don't want to stamp on this part. This is what you do when you mess up. You make it work. Opportunities for create this awesome hatch weave stamp. And it's not going to show a whole lot because your leaves are going to cover it, because you'll notice there's a space there. But we're going to make it work. We set that out of the way. I really should have stamped it before. It was a detail that I did not pay attention to. So when you're making yours, don't do what I did. Watch the video and go, oh, she forgot to put that little detail in there. And you can center this or put it over to the side, however you want to do it. You know, these are your cards. You don't have to do it. All right, we're going to play with Timid Tiger. And here's the deal with my pad of Timid Tiger. It is very juicy. You'll notice it's just kind of smushed on there. So I'm going to show you the little trick. I'm going to go ahead and move some ink out of the center of this ink pad. I'm using a spoon. I keep some plastic spoons in here because they're easy enough to clean up. And how about if we practice? Yeah, that one's got some. Now, these are textured stamps. They've got another name. And they don't put it on the stamp case. But notice how there's a dark and light in the veins and the ends of these leaves. Well, that's how the stamp is designed. And you'll even see it on the detail of the back. Oops, if you can see that. So even though this is already kind of designed to be thicker, I wanted not to be quite so wet looking, mushy. You know, that's a technical term, mushy. So I just squished my ink pad around with it. All right, Timid Tiger. It's one of our new in colors. And we're going to do the Cajun Praise. And that little guy, the sprig, I'm going to you'll get a piece in your kit of Very Vanilla. These were done on the Whisper White, and I thought it was just didn't look fallish enough. So notice how I just left the stamp on there for a second or two. I didn't just smush it and pull it. That gives that ink underneath it. Sometimes if you go too quickly, you don't even leave enough ink behind to stamp your image. And I'm being very careful not to rock it. It won't matter because I'm going to be die cutting them. But I try not to have halos. And then our acorn is done in Burberry Espresso. Did you ink up? Where should I put you? Put you right here. So see, I put all 4 of my items on the same piece of Very Vanilla. And the only trick to that is to make sure, I'll give you a big enough piece that you should be able to do all 4, and you might be able to die cut all 4 at the same time. But if you stamp them too close together, you will have to run it through more than once. And usually I stamp mine too close together. Maybe I did better this time. So I'm going to get it lined up. Put me a piece of washi tape. I'm going to do it off the edge of the cardstock so it'll hold the cardstock in place. Oops. Here's my acorn. A twig to do it all at the same time. And maybe some more washi tape. Every now and then I have to throw it away and get fresh. There's the edge. That's the hard thing about washi tape. And this is just retired stuff. Nothing that we carry now. Use what you got. Some people use Post-it notes. I can't find the edge of that one. Kind of have to feel it with your fingers. Just sort of a hint. And I know this is taking some time, and you're like, da, da, da. Alright, so today, like I said, it's the second day of fall, but you're going to want to go to my online store and see the new product that is available. It's the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar. And it's like I'm calling it an advent calendar for adults who love to craft. Because there are 12 windows and there are adults that are part of this calendar. We've only had a little sneak peeks. We know just about as much as you know. Okay, where's my top? Well, I'm sitting right here. I handled it there. There's what I'm looking for. It's clear. All right, there'll be a spot here. I can put this over here while so you can see what I'm doing. So it fit. You remember this is the mini Stampin' Cut embossing machine. So 3¼ inches, I believe, is the widest it'll take. So you have to be straight. Oops, left a little bit behind. Okay, let's move this back. And let's see what we got. Always hold my breath. Because you think you've got those things all lined up in there. Sometimes they're a little wonky. Wonky is a technical term for crafting. Opportunities for creativity. Okay. So this is the Gathering Moments. I don't know if you, and I do like to send seasonal themed I'm sending thank you cards to my customers, I like for them to kind of go with the season. This one says, your friendship means the world to me. And I sent one similar to a friend just to let her know that I was thinking of her and praying for her. I'm going to stamp it a little bit to the left because I want to put my acorn there on the right. This one doesn't have distressing, but you could totally do that if you wanted to. Now let's build our card. This is where we can kind of make it see. Only part of it even shows. And I want to put this right here. And now my big leaf is going to go back there. And my littler leaf is going to cover up that. Move it up. And this little guy, you have a choice. You can either do him flat, do him under the acorn, which is what I tried to do when I designed my card, and I didn't care for the way it looked, but I may do that this time. All right, so let's get some adhesive going. Get this card put together. I think the longest part of this card is getting your pieces ready. Here. And I'm going to go ahead and put some dimensionals. I can find. I have sheets and sheets of the mini dimensionals. I think I'll just cut some of the edges off. You see me do that often, I know. And I'm going to do. I like for them to be pretty stable. So use your thumb to indent them. Your thumbnail or your index finger. I'm pushing down with my index finger like that. And that kind of lifts up the edge. Way easier to get. Okie dokie. And I believe I will stick my acorn on to this. And I can put it at whatever angle I want to. I'm going to use the mini glue dots. I just like, they're super, super sticky. One reason I like them for embellishments and small. Alrighty. If you can get it off the release paper. Oops. No, don't stick hard. I don't want you. There you go. And we will apply some of the embellishments. If I can find them over here in my stack of stuffs. There they are, hiding. There are 3 sizes. So just use what makes you happy. And I'm going to do the little one up here this time. There you go. So you can get this class in the mail for free with your $50 purchase in my online store. The deadline to complete that is next Wednesday, October the 1st. Has to be a deadline. Can't go on and on because I will have other tempting classes for you. But for now, the Gathering Moments, these are the 4 cards that you will get kits for. And your time, and have a great day. So let's review. I did Gathering Moments, the bundle. We've used Gathering Together Designer Series paper. Beautiful designs. And you will shop with me. So that's all I had. Thanks for your time. Have a wonderful day. So long. Till next time.